Okay, so starting sitting is lovely. We are going to just deal with our feet for a moment. And I'm going to sit with my body in the sun. We have been dealing with how to get the lighting better in my house, and so far nothing is working. So let's sit in a double pigeon type of thing. But if that's not comfy, you could do something else because we're just going to be dealing with this top foot. So let's put right leg on top, left hand under the foot, and try to get a finger between each toe. And I have to use my right hand to separate the toes enough to get a finger in there. Otherwise, it's too tightly packed. And then the right hand is free to go anywhere, and you have your fingers stuck. Let's just rotate around a few times. If you have those little foamies that people put after a pedicure, you could put those in for a few minutes a day just to start fixing your feet from years of shoes. Go the other direction with the circles. You've heard the cue, spread your toes on the mat, but sometimes it's easier said than done. Okay, let's get those fingers out of there and just switch sides, left leg on top. If spreading the toes was easy, you would not necessarily need your other hand to help you wedge a finger in there. Okay, so make sure your ankle stays stable. And that will A, help you get more into your toe box right now. B, help train your ankle. Because you know when we go to something like Bakasana, I'm always yelling at you to keep your ankles flexed. Go the other way. Ow, this side is killing me. Ow. I feel like I'm about to chop off my finger because that is how tightly squished my toes are usually. Okay, let's get out of there. The dogs are being noisy. Hopefully that doesn't translate. Let's just come into tabletop for a moment. Tuck the toes under so that you feel about like a 90-degree bend in the toe box. Just lift the knees an inch or so off the ground. So there's some pushing down with the ball of the foot into the ground. Lower the knees again, untuck the toes. Try to spread the toes out so that you actually feel like your feet are taking up some space. Nice stretch through the front of the ankle. Belly in. And again, lift the knees an inch or so off the ground. So now you're getting the stretch through the front of the ankle. It might travel all the way up the shin. One more breath. We'll lower the knees down. Let's just meet in downward dog. And just pedal out the feet when you get there. Okay, we'll do a foot thing later on also, but let's warm up a bit first. So, from your downward dog, just walk your hands to your feet. When you feel your heels on the ground, bend your knees until your thighs and chest can touch. Take a breath there, draw the belly in, walk into your downward dog again. When you get to downward dog, rock forward to plank on your inhale. Come all the way down to your belly for your exhale. Just a little cobra, curl the chest up. And push your hands down into the floor and traction them back toward your hips. So it feels like your wrists are going to touch your hips. Lower the chest and fork into the floor, curl the toes, engage the quads so your kneecaps rise off the floor, and push to plank by squeezing your forearms together. Downward dog exhale. Again, we'll walk our hands back to the feet. We're just going to try to get our torso and thighs close together. For something like a jump through or lowering down from tripod to Bakasana, we have to have this sense of closeness, of being in a little ball, of having our thighs and chest close together. Let's walk into downward dog again. And if you have any back issues, that would be really hard to get your thighs and chest close together. Maybe, depends on your issue. Let's rock forward to plank. Inhale. Exhale all the way down to the belly again. Push your hands down and traction them back just like you did. But this time, once you feel like you're at your height, lift the hands off the ground so that you're just relying on your back muscles. Squeeze your elbows maybe a little bit closer together. And stay at that height, place the hands, lower head and chest, curl the toes, plank. Squeeze the forearms together to get you into plank. Find your downward dog, keep squeezing the forearms together, even though maybe it's not quite as essential as when you were actively lifting yourself off the ground. Okay, let's walk our hands to our feet again. This time bend the knees until you can squat, whatever your definition of a squat is. And notice you're starting to be a little more compact, more into a little ball shape. We'll increase that throughout the class so that maybe we can try some difficult things with that same simple concept. Okay, walk into your downward dog again. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale down to the belly. Starting the same way, little cobra. We find that upper back strength. Then we'll lift the hands. This time let's reach back with the palms down. Thumbs facing out, and bring your pinky fingers a little closer together. Maybe reach back a little bit more. Okay, we'll stay this lifted, place the hands down, and turn it into an upward dog by curling the toes, engaging the thighs just like when you were going to come to a plank. But as you lift, you'll pull yourself through your arms. Downward dog for the exhale. Walk back into our squat again. Heels on the ground. That might not mean that you're down this low, because also your knees might have an issue, your ankles might have an issue. You could put the hands behind you if you feel like you're about to fall on your butt or anywhere. Okay, walk into downward dog again. This time, right leg up high. Inhale. Step to the hands. Exhale. Just notice where it landed. Anywhere is fine. We're just going to do a little diagnostic. Lift the right leg up again. Inhale. And bring your left heel very high off the ground. And again, step your right foot forward. And just see if that made your foot go any further forward. Right leg up again, three-legged downward dog. And this time, left heel up, right knee to the chest. Try to curl and step forward. And wherever it landed is fine. Lower your left knee, Anjaneyasana, hands to the right. So now we're in a bit of a back bend. Let's take it to robot arms. Squeeze your thighs together so you feel your left hip move forward. And poke your elbows back. Okay, hands down, step back, Vinyasa. Use your hands and ankles kind of in concert to help create comfort and stability at all points of that vinyasa. Okay, left leg high, inhale. Step forward, exhale. 2 more times. Left leg up, inhale. Lift your right heel up. Also squeeze your forearms together so your arms stay really straight. 1 more time. You can think about your left knee curling in toward your chest. And eventually that foot is placed, right knee down, Anjaneyasana with robot arms. So the palms face in, roll the shoulders up and back, poke your elbows back. Don't get too comfy here. I know it's a relatively easy pose. But if you feel your hips veering to the right, you're doing a disservice to this right hip flexor. So try to scissor the legs. Okay, hands down, step back, Vinyasa. hands. When you get there, just shift your weight into your heels so your palms lift up, and you'll just be on fingertips for a sec, but your arms are still out in front of you. Stay relaxed somewhat. No reason for anxiety here. Let's place the palms flat, rock forward, lift the heels off the ground. Squeeze your forearms toward each other. Maybe come onto your tippy toes. Bring the heels down again. Walk forward a little bit more. Rock the weight into the heels so your hands could be light. They could be doing anything and you wouldn't fall over. Notice your chest is closer to your thighs. Place your hands. Squeeze your arms to straight. Lift your heels. Come as high up on the toes as you want by leaning forward. Let's bring the heels down again. Just step back, lower down on your exhale to your belly. Let's start out how we did before, a little cobra. Hands traction back, a little upper back muscles. Lift the hands off the ground. And this time reach out to the side, palms down. If you don't have room, you could just bend your elbows. Stay up high, big knuckles to the ceiling, and reach back as if your pinkies are going to touch. Try to stay that high as you reach out to the side again. And reach back again. Notice you naturally will come up higher as you're reaching back. So we try to stay at this new height as we reach the arms out to the side again. It's really difficult. Last time. Reach back, squeeze like your pinkies are going to touch, and stay that high. Place your hands, curl your toes, upward facing dog. Your ankles will help you, the hands will help. Downward dog, exhale. Shake out the head. Okay, right leg up high, inhale. Right knee to the elbow, exhale. This is just to warm us up. Inhale, right leg up. One more time like that, because this is easier than what we're about to do. Right leg up, inhale, and knee to the forehead or the nose. This is not that fun. One more like that, inhale, so our hips are square, and we'll just bring that right knee in toward the face. Inhale, leg up, and step forward to the hands. So it's that same action of knee in that steps the foot forward. And let's bring the back knee down for Asana again. This time we'll reach our arms forward with the palms up and pretend you have little weights on your thumbs so that you actually see your rotation here. You could see your pinkies rise up as your thumbs drop down. It would be a lot easier if there was actually a weight on your thumb. So we'll keep our hands facing up. We'll just reach them out to the side. Now as if the thumbs are going to touch behind us, which they are not. And then just bring it forward again. You might have to re-rotate or take a break. We'll just do this 2 more times. And don't forget you're in Anjane, so all of that foundational work doesn't change. This just helps us get into the pecs and arms in an interesting way. Okay, hands down. Either vinyasa or downward dog. And we'll do the other side. Left leg up high, inhale. First we just touch knee to elbow, exhale. We're curling into a ball, but it's easier because the hip can open a little bit, give us a little extra space. So these next 2, we bring our knee toward our forehead. And now we're very close in there, a bit claustrophobic perhaps. 2 times, we touch the nose or the forehead, or just as close as we can get. Then we step that foot forward. We try to squeeze the forearms in so the arms stay straight the whole time. Right knee down, Asana. Ooh, okay, reach forward. Before we do this time, just roll the other way. So the thumbs face down and the palms face out. And then take it to the other extreme, thumbs down, palms up. Just so that you see where you can go. Maybe if you rock it in and out like this a few times, you could find a deeper spot. Okay, so we'll meet with the palms up. Start to draw the thumbs back. You can eke out a little extra rotation as you're reaching the arms back and bring it forward again. Just do this 3 times. Oh, it feels so good on that back reach. Okay. After that last time, just place the hands and vinyasa. Okay, right leg up high, inhale. Knee to the left elbow, exhale. Just a little twist as you come forward. Leg up again, inhale. One more time, just like that. It's pretty easy to keep your arms straight at this moment. Just notice that. Leg up high, then knee to the nose, and we're gonna try to stay there. This is not very fun at all. So we're tucking our chin. We're pulling our knee in, which is a lot of hip flexor. We're trying to push the ground away. Arms are super straight. Let's lift the leg up high. Inhale. Release. And bring the foot forward to the hands. Anjaneyasana. This time with eagle arms. So I like to reach up just to get some momentum. We're going to go left under right. So it whips around, but you don't have to whip it around. You can do it any which way. So we'll try to bend the front knee deeper, lift the elbows up. Bring the thumbs away from your face. So your left arm is under, which would mean that your left palm is able to press down to your right palm and bring your hands a little bit to the side. So there's a pretty crazy shoulder rotation. So just take it as far as you want. It might be like an inch off of the center, or it might be further than what I'm showing. Take one more breath there. And we'll bring it to that center place again where we try to line up our hands with the front of our face, basically the nose. Lift the elbows another inch. Ooh, Lordy. Okay, let that go. Vinyasa. So these are all little shoulder things you could put in your arsenal or when you practice alone. Okay, left leg high, inhale. Knee to the right elbow, exhale. Don't let your left foot touch the floor. Inhale, leg up again. Again, knee to elbow, crossing in front. Inhale, leg up. Knee to the nose, not so bad yet. Leg up. And then we'll try to stay there and breathe. Okay, leg up, inhale, step to the hands, exhale. Right knee down. However you want to get into your arms, it's going to be right under left this time. I like to interlace the fingers at first to help wiggle the palms closer together. And once you get your palms where you want, separate the fingers. Elbows up, thumbs away. Like your elbows are trying to move far away from your front knee. And when you're able, reach your fingers over to the side. So the right hand is just pushing down into the left hand. If you're not quite hand to hand and you're on your forearm, it can still work. Ooh, Lordy. Tight shoulders, so much it makes me laugh. Okay, bring it back to center, elbows up. All right, and let's get out of there, vinyasa. We will meet in downward dog. Let's walk our hands back to our feet again. Bend the knees so your chest rests on your thighs. Shake out your head. And bend your knees deeper so you're in your squat. Belly in. And lower your butt to the floor, but if that's not a good way to get your butt to the floor, go a different way. And we're just going to touch knees to triceps. We did this the other day. I know you loved it. So we're balanced on our butt. Not so bad. Let's reach for our big toes. Push the balls of the feet up and away. Again, not so bad. Let's start to slip our hands to our calf muscles. Lower the legs a bit. Your hands can then slide to your thighs. And lower your legs till they're about eye height. Reach forward to frame your legs. Squeeze your legs together. It will make life easier. You're pushing the foot into the other foot. Let's bend the knees. Reach forward. You can reach your knees out to the side a little bit to make room for your torso. And we'll try to squat again. So we round in order to get into that squat. Start to straighten the legs. Walk into downward dog. Right leg high. Inhale. Step forward. Exhale. Lower the back heel, turn it into triangle from the bottom up. So you already have your right hand low, either on the floor or you can put it right now on your foot. So keep it there as you straighten your right leg. Look up at that left thumb. Try to make the hips rotate through your torso more. So it's the hip working that's going to bring your left ribs back. Release the hands, lower the left knee down, turn the right toes out to the side for a forearm lizard. Let the knee drop open, bend the back leg, reach for the foot, and kick the foot away. So it is taking our shoulder back the more it kicks. Now it's like your right shoulder is moving away from your right knee. Okay, unravel, twisted triangle. Right foot will face front again, heel to heel alignment if you can. Your left hand is already low, so keep it low, either on the floor, the block, or the foot, but then extend up from there. So you're pushing down into the hand and that front foot in order to extend the top arm. The root to rise thing. Okay, slowly untwist. We're going to slide our left knee to the pinky toe side of the right foot. Have a seat, twisting the same direction. Ardha Matsyendrasana, left arm up and over. Press your right knee to the left. Look back. I like to stabilize the leg with the right hand. Deepen the twist so the armpit is very close to the thigh. And then reach down. Right hand could come behind so long as that doesn't make you fall backwards. So notice how small you are in this little tiny shape. Let's unravel. Step back to your Asana. And we'll stay in a little tiny shape. Left arm up and over, twisted lunge. So we want to get our torso flesh as close to and over the right thigh as possible. So that if you choose to extend your left hand down to the floor, it actually can get close to the floor. You could always use a block, but that's temporary. Back knee up when you can. If this is going well, bind underneath the leg. Left arm comes under, right arm goes over, and your hands will meet near your left hip. Keep looking up if you can. Unravel whatever twist you have. We're going to place our hands down. Your right hand is going to stay put. Lower the left heel, reach the left arm out long for Parshvakonasana. If you feel stuck in the hip, instead of keeping your right palm flat, come onto fingertips. See if that helps. If that's not enough of a modification, either use a block or come up to the forearm. So by starting the pose from the bottom, you're kind of doing the hardest version first, but that's not always bad. It's still very modifiable. Okay, let's lower the hand, step back, vinyasa. Left foot will step forward. And we'll build triangle from the bottom up. So the left hand either on the big toe, the foot, the ankle, the floor. Reach the right arm up. Scoot that left hip under. And your torso will react by leaning back. And you can even play with that. It's pretty fun to see. Where does the torso go when you stick your butt out? It leans forward. And where does it go when you slide your hip under? You can play with that back and forth to see what is your range. You might end up in a new degree of opening that you didn't think you had access to. Okay, let's lower the hands. Anjaneyasana into that lizard pose. This is to prep us for the twist. So hands to the big toe side of the foot. Left foot will turn out on the diagonal. Come to the elbows if you can. If your left hip is dying here, maybe you don't want to add anything else. That's fine. When you can, left hand to right foot and kick. Sometimes we do this where we pull the foot in. But for right now, I just want you to kick so you can feel how the shoulder moves back, because that is a feeling that you'll need in triangle. If you can sink your hips lower toward the floor, you might feel even more rotation. Okay, let's unravel. Set up for your twisted triangle. Heel to heel if possible. Right hand somewhere low. Push into that hand. Extend the left arm up. Keep pressing into the ball of your left foot. So much so that it feels like you're about to step forward. Swing that left hip back. Okay, we unravel. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Just keep your left foot where it is. Bring your right knee outside of the foot. Have a seat. It's fine if you're off your mat a little bit. Nobody ever died from being off the mat. So we twist to the left, we hug hook or reach down for the arch of the left foot. But reaching down for the arch is only really possible if you have a deep twist. So first, try to get your armpit all the way to the thigh. And in a lead class, like a lead second series class, it would take me like to the count of 3 to be in the full pose. That's one of the reasons why Mysore is nice. You can start your count when you actually get there. Okay, let's unravel. We'll step back again to our Anjaneyasana so that we can find prayer twist or potentially bind. So the right arm up and over. I use that free left hand to roll the flesh of the left thigh in so that there's more of a chance of getting the armpit close to that thigh bone. Either prayer or right hand down, left hand up. If you're breathing easy with your right palm flat, then try to bind. Get your hand just under the leg. It doesn't have to go very far under the leg. Most of the traveling is going to be done by the top arm. But the rotation of the bottom arm is really hard, so it feels like a lot is happening. And Anuk, try to lean your left shoulder back more. Good. Okay, let's untwist. Your left hand's already down. Now just place your right heel down so your legs are in warrior two. Extend the right arm out, Bakasana. And then decide, is this a good spot for you, or do you want to come higher so that you can get more rotation? I came onto my fingertips because just now on the palm I felt real stuck. There was nowhere to go. And every day it's going to be different. Anuk and I were talking about Bakasana. And if you want to try Bakasana on a Wednesday, you cannot eat pizza on a Tuesday. Okay, let's lower the hand. Lots of variables. And step back, vinyasa. Okay, let's walk the hands back to the feet. So again, we can feel chest on thighs, bend the knees, and squat. Sit down, and let's just hug our knees in to the chest. So we know that it's possible for our thighs and chest to touch. And keep squeezing your knees and feet together, reach forward. And now there's a gap here. There wasn't when we were hugging it in. We'll try to eliminate the gap, but for me it is not eliminating. I'm just thinking about it. Okay, Bharadvajasana, soles of the feet together. Open up the feet like a book, and your knees are going to drop closer to the floor. Inhale, and fold forward, exhale. And we'll aim the chest for the feet. And I'm lifting my butt for a moment just to kind of reset the hip, but that's not necessarily normal. Hey, Billy, stop. Billy, calm down. There's a crazy Rottweiler outside. An hour of walking pre-class was obviously not enough for her. Okay, let's rise up. We're gonna hug ourselves in again, but this time cross one shin on top of the other. So whichever leg is on top, it will help you squeeze your knees in. This time place your palms down about maybe 6 or 8 inches in front of your hips. Lean forward, lift your butt. And lower your butt, switch which leg is on top, and use that shin to cinch it all in. Place your hands, lean forward, lift your butt, and come on down. Good. So decide which shin you want. We're going to just take that into a vinyasa. So we'll lift our butt and we'll slide our feet through. So whichever shin is on top is helping to push your other foot through. And at some point you end up just kind of stepping back. Vinyasa at your pace. We'll meet in downward dog. So a jump through, a lot of it is your core strength and a lot of it is hip flexors. Take one more breath. Shush. You're too much, Bill. Too much. Okay, let's bring our right foot forward to the hands. And I'm going to step back a little bit. All right. So our right foot is centered and anchored. Let's just launch the left leg off the ground. So we wind up in this balance and our fingers came with us. We just move with the shoulders. Now return to your lunge. Your hands again came with you. Let's do that a few times, just launching yourself up and letting yourself land. And just see what that's like. There is this element of your chest reaching forward and of your gaze going forward. Sometimes we get distracted by everything else and we don't realize there's this simple concept that the body knows how to do. Okay, the next time that you're forward on that foot, we're just going to bring both knees to the chest, bend the knees a little bit, kick the left leg forward, and have a seat. If that didn't work for you to get down to your butt, just somehow get to your butt for Marichyasana A. Right heel close to the sitting bone, about 5 inches between foot and thigh. We'll reach forward as far as we can. Thumb is facing down, palm facing out, and reach around. We've got to get that armpit to the shin bone, otherwise your arm is not long enough to wrap around. If you're an easy binder, you're going to have your right hand on your left wrist. Otherwise, you might be gripping your fingers for dear life. You might be using a towel. All of it is fine. Your shoulders are enjoying this. Okay, let's let that go. We're going to stand on that right foot again, lift our butt, lean forward so that we can step to our lunge again from whence you came. Good, and vinyasa out of there, just step back, lower down. Left foot forward. So this side will be maybe easier because now you kind of know where it's going. So just a few times we launch up and back. If possible, as you're doing this, think about drawing your belly in so it's defying gravity. It's not hanging down toward the floor. Mine will only do that if I think about it. And there's a lot going on, so maybe that would be too much to think about. Okay, the next time you're balanced, curl into a little ball. Move your hands accordingly to help you balance on the way down, and sit. Marichyasana A. So the reason we need space here is because your torso has to come down. If the foot is right up next to the straight leg, your knee is going to have to move out to the side for the torso. So instead, the foot comes out, and we try to keep this roughly a straight line. So we reach out and around. If you have any shoulder issues and you don't want a full bind here, just have your arms out to the side. And that will be enough for now. This might be the last time this Rottweiler is invited to yoga. Okay, let's rise up. We'll step to our lunge again. So your butt will lift. You have to use your fingers to help. And slide that right foot back. Vinyasa. Okay, let's bring our feet about 12 inches behind the hands. And start to squat, but don't go all the way down. Maybe have your butt like 12 inches off your heels, but where it still is a very compact position. And drop your head here. Place your hands about 12 inches in front of your feet and keep everything the same except lift your heels off the ground. So now we have straight arms, but our knees are still in our chest. So it's not Bakasana, but it's just a prep for our belly strength requirement for Bakasana. Okay, lower the heels down again, have a seat. Left leg out straight. Let's baby cradle the right leg. So I'll put that foot in the elbow or something else. And I like to rock it back and forth, but you do not have to. If you are not rocking it back and forth, you would be paused at the pushing foot into arm moment. So not here, but the other one. So that your shin is centered on your body. Okay, let's bring our right heel to our belly button, right foot to half lotus. If this is not for you, go for Janu A, foot to thigh. If you are in half lotus, reach behind you for that foot, or the toe, I should say, and fold. Regardless of whether you're in lotus or not, you're trying to square your torso on your straight left leg. Rise up. We're going to cross the legs. If you're in half lotus, you could bring your left leg into full lotus, or you could stay in half lotus. If you're not in lotus, just cross them normal. And we're going to lift the knees to hug the knees in. Maybe you can interlace your fingers, maybe you're holding onto your thighs. But remember how we balanced earlier, we hugged our knees into the chest. It was much easier than now, but we still try to make ourselves as compact as possible. And keep that feeling, but reach forward. Harder. Keep that feeling, but place your hands down in front of your hips, not next to, literally in front of. Roll forward. Your knees will come down a bit. And push to straight arms. Take 2 more breaths. If you're not in lotus, your hip flexors have to work like mad, but otherwise it's similar. Okay, come on down, unravel your legs, and squat. This time we will take it into Bakasana instead of just the prep for Bakasana. So let's lift our hips up about 12 inches from the heels. So it's still a squat, but not so low. Keep the feet together, but separate your knees to your upper arms. And try to keep your thighs and chest pretty close as you rock forward. So you're not changing the rounded back sensation. You just shifted your point of balance. And Laura, if possible, have your heels touch too. Good. Let's come on down to our butts again. And just straighten the right leg or baby cradle of the left leg. I have to yell at this little girl one more time. Stop it. You're acting like a butthead. I am not approving. Oh, Lordy. You'd think I have toddlers running around. A, it's not a toddler, and B, it's not mine. Okay, so we half lotus that left leg, or something like Janu A is similar. It's like Janu A would be a prep for this, even though this comes before Janu A in primary. That is something that I never will understand. We wrap around and we fold. Thinking of drawing the belly in. If you're in half lotus, you have your heel digging in there to help remind you and to be like a manual adjustment. Okay, we'll lift the chest, find your cross-legged, whatever that may be, and try to hug the knees in. And I can feel that on this side, I'm much looser, so I'm not even gonna be able to interlace my fingers. We'll try to keep the knees where they are, but reach forward. Hello, abdominals. Hello, Mula Bandha, if possible. Okay, hands down. Basically like where your thighs would be if your legs were on the floor. Lean forward. Your knees will come down a bit, but we're not going to let them come all the way to the floor. We'll straighten the arms, butt will come up, and now we're going to think of lifting the knees toward the shoulders. I'm thinking of it and they haven't changed position, but at least they haven't dropped. Okay, come on down to your butt. Unravel your legs and find your squat again. This time we're going to attempt okay, don't worry. Feet together, but knees apart. We'll bring our forearms down. We'll see how that goes. I just want to watch. So it's not a balance. We're going to keep our feet on the ground. Just bring your forearms down. Heels down too. And it's a crazy stretch. You love it, Lisa? Looks like your heels are not down all the way, girl. She's giving me a thumbs down. So this pose turns into a full bind around the back. We're not going to do that right now. But draw your belly in a smidge more. Okay, and then have a seat. Oh Lord. Okay. Right knee facing up. This time into the twist Marichyasana C, so we don't need 5 inches here between foot and thigh. 3 inches would suffice. We twist to the right, we'll try to wrap the arm around. Bind if possible, or you can have your left elbow bent. We're going to try to sit up real tall on each inhale and twist on each exhale. And just notice how compact you are here. Okay, let's unravel. We're going to use this to get us into the Kukkutasana, which we did the other day, but we did it from different positions. So here your right foot is totally on the ground. Let's instead lift our butt and slide forward so now our right heel is off the ground. And then we'll twist, same direction. Let's do the cheated one first. Hands face the side. We're going to just lean our right hip into our elbow. Let it tip over and extend the legs. The leg that's attached to your arms is going to extend forward, and the other leg will extend back. When you've had enough of that, just sit down again, like a little out and back. Good, Laura, you got this. Straight legs, Laura. Reach with your feet. Yes. Good. I've seen more graceful exits, but I liked it when it was up. Okay, so let's just change sides for Marichyasana C. So left knee up, hug the knee to your shoulder, to your right shoulder. I do the same rigmarole as that Ardha Matsyendrasana we did before. So again, if I was in a lead class, I don't get into the full pose until like breath 2 or 3. Looking back over the left shoulder is going to help. Good. And let's unravel. So we lift our butt off the ground and our left heel off the ground. So now the left knee is pretty much facing front. That just allows you to twist and anchor yourself. Hip on left elbow, thigh on right elbow, and it's quite easy to just tip over. It doesn't take a lot of strength. It does, however, take being very precise in where your arm is on your leg. So the twist has to be very deep. This is a flexibility pose more than anything. Spine flexibility. Good. We wound up on our butts again. Okay. Let's come into our squat. This time we'll take a Bakasana to a tripod. But notice in your squat, your feet are together, and it's not just your toes, it's the entire inner edge of the feet. So let's keep that as we approach tripod. So heels up, butt up, hands down, and as you start to point your toes, keep the inner edges of your feet touching. And you can start to bend your elbows so your head comes down. And fire up your abdominals to get your knees up off your arms. If that's where you're going today, you do not have to go all the way up. Make your game plan out of there. Do you want a chaturanga or do you want to try Bakasana? We will have plenty of chances to try Bakasana later. So just see how it goes. Nice. Anuk elbows in more. Okay. Let's meet in downward dog. Take 2 more breaths. And let's jump through and have a seat in a 2-parted jump through style. So we're going to cross our ankles as we land our feet kind of in the vicinity of our hands. And we'll walk our hands back, but keep the butt off the ground. And just stay here for a moment. Notice your knees are close to your shoulders. Your back is rounded. You're leaning forward. Keep all that happening. Just extend your legs and then lower your butt. So you were compact for as long as possible. Okay, let's reach the right leg out either 90 degrees from the left leg straight or fold it back like Virasana. We'll twist to the right and side bend to the left or Bharadvajasana. The left hand could be on your right hip. It could be out in front of you, helping get that shoulder inside your knee. It could jump onto the foot as well, the straight leg foot. Another place I like to put it sometimes is on that top elbow, just poking the elbow up a little bit higher so that the elbow is less likely to drop in front of my face. Okay, let's rise up. We'll just bring the right knee to face front, folding it back, Virasana style, for Urdhva Kukkutasana. And if you want to block under your butt, no problem. You want to be balanced right and left sides. So if you're leaning, A, the block will help, B, your left hand to the side will help. We'll fold forward over that left leg. There's a lot of feeling of kind of smushing the torso and the thighs together. If possible, belly in, so you feel space there, and then reach the chest forward more. Okay, let's rise up. We're going to go Bakasana into tripod, which sounds crazy, but it's not that much worse than Bakasana into tripod. And feel free to repeat Bakasana instead. So here you are on your butt. You're going to lift your butt off the ground, hands down in front of your knee and foot, and lift your left foot, lift your right knee. If you can't go to the full pose, you could stay right there. Otherwise, drag your knee in toward your chest so that you're in a little ball. Either stay or extend the leg back, and you'll lower your head to the floor. Once you get your head to your floor, this right leg, the one that's extended back, is going to start lifting higher and higher and higher until at some point it can get the other leg up as well. You end up in the same spot that you were before. I'm going to watch. Lisa, try that again. With a little more fight this time. Good. So getting down into tripod is much easier than getting up, but sometimes it does help to work that side of things. If this is easy for you, by all means, get up as well. Okay, so downward dog, if you're not there. Let's do another two-part jump through to sitting down. So we'll cross the ankles with feet flexed so that we land them behind but kind of near the wrists. Your butt is off the ground. Walk your hands back. Your knees are now by your chest or shoulders. Extend your legs out. They can be on the ground or off the ground, but your butt is still up and you're still leaning forward. And eventually, you'll just lower your butt down by bending the elbows. Okay, Bharadvajasana, side two. So the left leg, either straight out or bent, depending on your knees. We twist to the left and side bend to the right. And even when we're side bending, we're twisting. So there's a lot happening here. That's why this right arm is very helpful. And if you put your right hand somewhere that you feel like it's not serving you, just try something else. And if you were to look up, ideally you see the ceiling without this top elbow blocking your view. Let's unravel. We'll get this left knee to face front. Thighs parallel to one another. Inhale. And fold forward for Urdhva Kukkutasana, which translates as fold one leg back and forward bend over the straight leg, something like that. And Tim says, that sounds so boring. Urdhva Kukkutasana sounds so much better. So hands either on the floor or on the foot. Remember when we did Supta Konasana the other day and we were practicing landing on the calf muscle? That is helpful here to prevent you from rocking over onto the right side. So to keep myself straight, I'm pressing this right calf muscle into the floor. Okay, let's rise up, bend the right knee. There's like a little prep kind of element because you're compact. So as you're approaching your Bakasana, you stay pretty much compact. You press your right shin into your right arm. Your left knee can stay like this, close to the chest, or it can extend out. Once the head is on the floor, the element of precarious is way less. Give it a try. And if it did not go well on side 2, try it again. And Anuk, connect your feet. Good. Okay, and we'll meet in downward dog. Sometimes it helps to do something lunatic like that to be able to stomach something more palatable like the Bakasana transition. Let's find pigeon, right leg in front. You decide how angled you want your shin to be based on how your hips and knees feel today. Right now I have my left hand underneath the sole of the right foot as a reminder to flex my foot and push the ball of the foot into the hand so that the ankle is part of this pose. Okay, let's rise up. We're going to swing the left leg around and bring that right leg to half lotus or your version of it. The left leg will fold back like your asana, or be straight with your knees at mat's width. Twist to the right. If you're holding your foot, cool. If you're holding your thigh, cool. Slide your left hand under your right knee. Anchor through that hand. Lean a little bit into it so that you feel like you can revolve your right shoulder back and away from that anchor. Okay, let's unravel. And we'll meet in Utkatasana. So we'll just bring the feet down, the butt up. We'll press into the feet until we can get our hips high enough to actually call it Utkatasana. And we'll twist in the same direction. So we'll hook that left arm. This time we're going to try Asana without the cheat. So earlier you did it where your right hip was on your elbow. Now it's not going to be that way. Your fingers are going to face front. I'm going to scoot over so I'm still in the silly little sun stream. Fingers are going to face front and you're going to lean, but your right hip is now floating in space. The feet will come off the ground. This is technically partial Bakasana, but if you want to turn it into Asana, you'll just extend the legs. Right leg forward, left leg back. Give it a whirl. Step 1 is really getting secure in your twist. So you might not even want to take it to an arm balance. You just have to negotiate the flush of the thigh with the flush of the chest. because that's the most important part. Keep gazing forward, Anoop. Yes. Now straighten the legs. And your legs are going to know. Sometimes I get a question, which leg goes front, which leg goes back? Well, one leg is glued to your arm, so that one has to go front. Okay. Let us have a seat. And let us think of what started all of this lunacy. Who knows? Who knows? It was not Bharadvajasana. There was something that came before that. But I can't think of it, so I guess we'll start in Bharadvajasana, and I'll think of it later. So let's bring our left leg to half lotus. Rock over. Oh, pigeon. That's why. Pigeon. My body knew, because it was like, wait, I don't want to half lotus upper left leg just yet. I need something else. So left leg in front for pigeon. Take a moment, few breaths. And then we can turn it into Bharadvajasana by rocking onto the hip and swinging the right leg around. Okay, that feels better. So the knees are about mat width. We twist left. So as you're going through a series, this is a second series pose, you might need to stick in little preps here and there to make it all palatable. There are some yoga studios that don't allow such things, but Tim always did. He would only really give us grief about it when he could tell we were prepping purely to delay. Like we didn't want to do Kukkutasana, so we do 20 minutes of preps for Kukkutasana. Okay, let's unravel. And something came next. Ah, yes, Kukkutasana. This dog outside is distracting me. Okay, Kukkutasana into your balance. So before you approach your balance, the most important thing is going to be this hook. If you only get your elbow just barely over, you can still do it. It's possible, but it's real precarious and I might slip off. And that's not that fun. So take your time to get yourself real small. I even crouch, heels up, butt by heels, so that I can get my arm really far over. And then the balance is much easier. Lower straight legs, leg a little higher and back will make life easier. Good. And whenever you've had enough, we'll meet in downward dog. The more compact you are, the easier it is to make all those things happen. Okay, so let's try jumping through. You could do it the two-part way we did it before, or you could go in one fell swoop. Really, the key element is lean forward. Keep your shoulders forward so that you can lower your butt when you want instead of just accidentally land it. Okay, let's bend our knees. We'll just hold on to the thighs and C-curve our back. So as if someone just poked you in the belly button, you wind up with your back rounded. Lot of Uddiyana Bandha. If you can hold that without your hands on your legs, just reach your arms like you have a beach ball here. And keep drawing your belly in so you're still rounded, but reach your beach ball over to the side. We'll take a few breaths here. You'll probably be able to deepen your twist as you breathe, but keep the curve happening. Okay, through center over to the other side. Make sure you're not holding your breath. It should be difficult but manageable. Okay, we'll come through center and then rise up. Hands to the shins, sit up tall. Again, round yourself so the belly button moves back. Again, reach forward, maybe come down a little bit further. You decide how low. Round yourself as you come up. When you get to the top, hands to the shins, sit up straight. Just do that a few more times. You're basically moving like toward your tailbone as you round. And then as you sit up, you move toward your sitting bones. The shoulders will move back. Let's take last one. Okay. Vinyasa out of there. You can cross your shins or ankles. You can lift your hips, lean your shoulders forward, start to slide your feet through that tiny little space, and vinyasa. Okay, tripod into Bakasana. So we've talked about this a million times, but it takes a lot of practice. So when you jump through and this happens, see how my shoulders just went back? That's the same problem with this lifting up. We need to keep it moving forward instead. So everything is quite related. So come down to your hands and knees. Lower your head for your tripod. You don't have to lift your legs all the way to headstand, but you can if you want. And you're going to keep your feet together as you bring your knees toward your chest. So first, just knees together. You're in a little ball. Then separate the knees. You might have to separate your feet momentarily as you walk your legs higher up on your arms. And roll a teeny bit toward your forehead. Press your fingertips into the floor. Start to straighten your arms, and that's going to lift your head. Lift your heels up toward your butt. Look forward toward the top of your mat. Good. And then come down and rest. And we're going to do a little foot thing, and then we'll do that again. So we're going to sit with our feet crossed, one on top of the other. So I'm going to put left foot first, then right foot, and they're going to kind of crisscross. So one is facing one way, one's facing the other way. The bony top of your foot is going to push into the other foot. And it's literally just one down, one over. And if you can, sit on it. Ow! It's kind of excruciating. So the pressure point is going to hurt depending on time of the month, hormones type of thing. Try to stay calm, breathe steady. We're not in any kind of weird back bend or forward bend. One guy, Oscar, used to request this in Holly's Saturday morning class. And everybody else would moan because he was the only one who liked it. All right, let's change sides, but it is very valuable. Pretty much everything you can do to love on your feet is valuable. Oh my gosh, I can't even do this side, it hurts so bad. So if you can't do it like me, lean forward more so that there's less weight. And if you don't feel anything, you might just try moving your foot an inch or two in any direction, just so that you can find your sweet spot of pain. Okay. Getting better over the breaths. Whew. All right. So let's come out of there. We're going to come into Bharadvajasana A. So not tripod. Give your wrists a little break. A is the interlaced finger one. This time, when we're up there, we're going to practice knees to chest. So you might not even come all the way up. You might just be here, and then here, and then here, and then here. So you decide if you come all the way up or not. It's really this bottom part that's really hard. Going fully up is The transition is challenging, but being up is pretty easy. So bring your knees as close to your chest as you can, knowing that you do have to come up again to the more easy version. Just want you to work your range. Carol, you can go much lower, like all the way in. Now come up. Yes, Miss Carol, that's what I want. Do that again. And you can tell when you're at your kind of low range because you're fighting yourself. Okay. So we're going to try that in the tripod format just before we put our knees on our arms, just knees into chest first. So the tripod thing is getting better. I'm still seeing a little bit attraction of heels to floor. So I'm just coming right into the leg portion. I didn't go all the way up. But this part, I'm going to rock a little bit. And right now, I'm thinking straight arms. So I'm pushing down into the floor so that I can get my body further away from the ground. And Lisa and I talked about this. My arms don't get fully straight, but they have to get straighter. So give it a try. You will see on Instagram people with totally straight arms. It looks cool. But those of us who can't do that, we can still get this pose. Good, Sean. Keep fighting it. Heels up. Nice. Ooh, Miss Lisa held it longer than last time. It's amazing that I can see the fights that you guys have, even though you're like an square inch on my screen. Yes, this is a bit of a battle, this pose. I will give you that. Okay, so let's come into Virasana. We will do one more thing in that vein soon enough. And Virasana, you could be on a thing or not on a thing under your butt. We're going to put our hands behind us, fingers facing this front. And we'll try to do the arm portion of Bharadvajasana. And it feels so good in the chest and in the biceps. Oh, I love it. I could stay here all day, especially if it meant not having to do Bharadvajasana. So let's turn this into a Kristen McCloskey form of a prep for Bharadvajasana. We'll just push into the feet and lift our hips up off the ground. Seems like it should be easy enough, but all of a sudden, we're working our legs like mad. You could let your head drop back if you'd like. Lift your hips one more inch, your glutes will be working. Okay, and then come on down. Yikes. Okay, right leg is gonna go sole of foot to the floor, knee up. If you have any pain whatsoever in your left knee, straighten it. We're gonna go for Marichyasana F. So we twist to the right. You might say you're hugging your knee, otherwise hook your arm. Here's again, we have to deal with getting close. So the flesh of the torso has to move outside of the thigh. This placement is gonna determine whether or not you can bind. So I just lifted my butt a bit so that I could scoot that arm further over. And then the bind is possible. But if you don't have your armpit real close to your thigh, you can't bind. So take it a step at a time, even if it means that you're stuck on step 2 for like 3 years. That would be expected. That is why this is a lifetime of practice. Okay, let's slowly come out of there. Whew. And let's change sides, but we didn't start there. We started with, yes, Virasana. We're gonna do that again. Virasana into Urdhva Mula. So the arms are gonna straighten, and you're gonna feel like your shoulder blades are moving toward each other. It should feel real good in the chest. Keep pressing your thumbs and pointers down as you lift your hips. This is also a great prep to do for Kukkutasana and all of those crazy things. Okay, then come on down and bring your left sole of foot to the floor. Heel quite close to your sitting bone so that your shin, or your calf muscle rather, is basically squished into your hamstring. And twist. And Laura, without letting your left knee move at all, push your arm into your leg more. And you'll be able to twist a little deeper. And look over that left shoulder. Yes. Then that left hand can scoot around a little further too. Okay. Good. Let's slowly get out of there. And let's meet in our squat. And we'll just turn it into a Bakasana jump back. So not going into tripod. But in your Bakasana, you're going to keep your knees pretty close to your chest. You'll just be in this little ball shape. And you'll decide when you want to explode into your chaturanga. And you'll let yourself lean forward just a little bit more so your legs can shoot back. Because getting the leg off the arm is, at first it's stuck. So then you have to kind of commit to the excitement of it. Okay. So we'll try Urdhva Kukkutasana. If lotus is not your thing, this is not going to be your thing either. So you would then do tripod to Bakasana. It's pretty much the same deal. The only difference being lotus. And for me, this is not one of those poses where I'm guaranteed. So I'm going to lotus up the legs. And I'm going to try to fold myself into a little ball shape. If I could get my knees closer to my armpits, it would be easier. But this is as close as they get. So I try to rock a little toward the forehead. And I'm going to think straight arms. So I wind up in the balance. It's the same exact process, just with the legs in lotus. So try it if you want. But if lotus is not your jam, make sure that you can get your Bakasana from there. I'm just presenting that to you in case the Bakasana process is boring. I never want you to be bored. Miss Bloom, let's do it. Sean, that was adorable. Let me see it again. That went very awry. And it definitely helps to have a solid lift into Bakasana before you go messing with the legs. But sometimes it's fun to just try something crazy. Good, Sean, your placement's perfect. And think straight arms and look forward as soon as you can. Good fight. the slippery knee thing. That's why I wear pants. Okay. So let's come onto our bellies. And we're going to attempt to cross our wrists in Dhanurasana. This is not going to necessarily work for you, but we'll try it, and if it doesn't work, I'll give you another choice. So bend your knees, reach your left hand to your right ankle. You're going to have to lean over to the left to get that position. Then lean to the right, slide your right arm along your low back, reach your right hand for your left ankle. So now your wrists are crossed, but your inner edges of feet are touching each other. If that didn't work for you, just go for normal Dhanurasana. and we'll kick. It's just a little extra shoulder opener. We'll push the pubic bone down, and we'll try to get our heels a little bit higher. Okay, come on down, because we have to try the other side. So, reset as needed. Sometimes the knees splay a little bit too much. So bring your knees back toward one another a bit. Reach your right hand for your left ankle. Slide your left arm along your low back. Reach it for your right ankle and kick. And whether or not you're in this cross wrist or a regular traditional Dhanurasana, you're going to let your arms stay straight. You're going to reach your toes up toward the ceiling. Let's come on down. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Okay. So we'll jump through and have a seat. You can jump through any way you want. I'm going to do the two-part one. So that would be landing behind the hands, moving the hands back but keeping the butt up, moving the feet forward but keeping the shoulders forward, and then lowering down. So you might do it that way for 16 years or forever. Okay. So Bharadvajasana. If you prefer, bend your knees and do this. That would be reverse table. Otherwise, legs straight. Point your toes. Glue your legs together. And then lift your hips. We're pushing the heels down into the floor. Just like when we did this from Virasana, you were pushing your knees and feet. Now it's your heels. Okay, come on down. Ooh, that's hard. And let's lower down to our backs. We're just going to take 2 back bends from our backs. You decide which ones. We have not done a lot of back bend prep, so maybe you keep it simple. But also, we all have a different definition of what is simple. I personally think Viparita Dandasana on the forearms is easier than Urdhva Dhanurasana because it doesn't require so much strength. Let's come on down from wherever you are. Take a breath at your base. And then come up again, last one. Stay for 5 breaths. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go down. Let's just bring the knees in. Hold the kneecaps with the hands. Pull them toward your chest as you exhale. Push them away from you as you inhale. Just to feel like that. We'll either rock up for Paschimottanasana, folding over straight legs, or stand on your feet and slide your hands underneath your feet for Parahastasana. You decide which is better for you. The legs do not have to be straight. They just get as straight as you can. Okay, so we're going to lay down again. And take out any ponytail or bun that you have, because we're going to go for some shoulder stand work. We'll actually attempt lotus up there as well, so no need to be nervous though. There are, of course, variations. So first we lay down, toes point, legs together, just like you had that squeezing in Purvottanasana, same thing here. But our belly is hollow. And you can think of your pelvis and your ribs as the edges of a pool. And your guts are basically the fluid inside the pool. Let's lift the legs up. Feel free to stay in this L shape or take it up to your shoulder stand. Let's keep the left leg lifted. Lower the right leg to Halasana. Stare at your left leg. Make sure that you're rotating it in so your kneecap is facing the back of your mat. Lift your right leg up. Lower your left leg. Be dedicated with that right leg. Don't let it splay out. That's just a prep for future splits. Okay, both legs down. It's fine if your toes are not touching the floor. If they are touching the floor, you might want to bend your knees toward your shoulders. Notice you're in a very compact position. Let's lift the legs up to vertical again. Make sure you're standing on your shoulders, so this is not a neck stand in any way. We'll bring the right leg to the lower left thigh. We'll start to bend the left leg so that we can push that right foot up toward the hip crease. Looks like your right foot is playing the violin that is your left thigh. And your right knee will have to reach up to the ceiling to get out of the way of your left foot so that your left foot can complete lotus. Or you can cross any which way you want. Hands to the knees, push up with your arms. Make sure that you feel your shoulders anchor into the floor. We'll hug the knees in toward the shoulders. Just keeps getting more and more compact. Let's bring the palms down to the mat. Roll yourself down to your back. We'll go for Marichyasana. Once you're down there, if you're in lotus, hold your feet. Otherwise, your hands can be near your hips. Lift your chest. Open the throat. Pretend there's a little string pulling your chest up. And if you have no back pain at all, extend your legs and arms out 45-ish degrees. So the chest is lifting and our belly is drawing in to help support us. Let's release it down to our backs. Traditionally, there is a Chakrasana out of that, but we've done entire classes on Chakrasana. And I think we would need to do another class or two on it before we could just go right into it. Because it's tough. If there's anything else you need before Shavasana, go ahead and take it. Maybe a twist, maybe a happy baby, maybe a headstand. use the next minute to make our way to sitting. This pose is excellent for preparing us for death. Corpse pose. We practice letting go. We practice noticing what that feels like without bringing any fear into it, so that when our time comes, maybe we can be graceful. Make sure you sit in such a way that is pain-free, that is easy. Let's take one Om together. Inhale deeply. Namaste. Thanks, y'all. Come around the back.